Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. You know, it's almost Mother's Day and every year I do a very special Mother's Day program. I've talked about my mother, my grandmother. I've had the person that did all the icing of our cakes on Washington Road for years on the show with me. But this year, I cannot wait to introduce you to Donna Nail. She is our Culinary Director. She's been with me for 21 years, and she has so much to do with everything that we do on the show. I cannot wait for you to meet her. We're gonna be doing 3 great recipes today. We're gonna start with my favorite, the Pecan Havarti Quesadillas, something we do a lot during the holidays and also during the golf tournament here in Augusta. We're also going to do a cheddar cheese and chive biscuit. Donna's putting a twist on it today, but she can literally make these in her sleep. Then finally, we're gonna do salmon and a filet of beef that she's got a very unique method to do so that you don't even have to use the grill. So we've got a lot to do today. I can't wait to introduce you to Donna. Let's get started in the kitchen. Okay, everybody, so I am so excited to introduce you to Donna Nail. She is our Culinary Director. And Donna, do you remember the first day you walked into our building?
I do. So I walked in and I asked for you and you came out and I said, "Hi, I'm Donna Nail." I handed you my resume. I said, "I've been catering on the side and I want to learn how to cater professionally, and I heard you're the best, so I came to meet."
Oh my goodness. Well, y'all, that is like 21 years ago. And since then, the word Culinary Director, you have taken to a completely new level. I mean, she is our Culinary Director for the television show. So every week when you're watching these shows and you see all these bowls and all these ingredients, Donna is the one that has done that behind the scenes and set me up for practice. She is also the Culinary Director for our hospitality program, Vera Hospitality. She manages everything we do for the golf tournament. And then, you know, we have that cooking camp in the summer when it really gets lively in here. And Donna is the one that's directing everything that happens with these kids in the kitchen. So we're doing 3 recipes today, Donna, and you chose my favorite for the first.
I did. I love these. I served them at my daughter's wedding. They're just wonderful. If you'll go ahead and flip that one, I've gotten started today.
Okay, so now this is the pecan.
This is a Pecan Havarti Quesadilla. Ooh. So I've grated my Havarti cheese, which I pick up from the fresh market. It's great. And then I have the Elliott halves that I order from Pearson Farms. They're great. They're a little bit lighter in color. Yeah. So they just remind me of a nice fresh nut. It's not something that's...
And right here in Fort Valley, Georgia.
Yes. So now I'm gonna add a little bit of a fig preserve, and I'm gonna kind of go over the whole tortilla, but I'm gonna go all the way to the edges. You don't wanna put a lot, because this is pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. But man, does it pair well with that Havarti cheese. I mean, it's a wonderful pairing.
You know, and it's so unusual sounding. Mm-hmm. And as you continue to say when we do this, that people have never had this before.
No, they're like, what? Let me try that. And then as soon as they taste it, they just love it.
And this recipe is not only on our website at veryvera.com, but it's in our second cookbook, Occasions. You know, and this, I mean, have you done this at camp with the children?
No, I don't think I've actually made
that
this.
That might be something we could do for the advanced group this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we swapping out now?
We are. If you'll bring that one over here, I'm going to put a little spray on this one.
She's trusting me right this minute. She can also make this in her sleep.
And I'm going to add a little bit of that so that the bottom will get sprayed. And I'm just going to let that, you can hear it.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so if somebody wanted to do this for an event or for a group, how far in advance can you do what you just did?
So you can go ahead and make the quesadilla, just don't grill it off or brown it off. You can make it, put it in the refrigerator 2-3 days in advance. It won't hurt it a bit. It actually helps make it stick together, so it's really great. So,
and I think too, in terms of you, when you came to the building 21 years ago and you said, I'm doing some catering, but I want to learn, what you're forgetting is how much you brought to our table, mm-hmm. because you understood things like the fact that you can make this several days in advance, mm-hmm. the fact that things can go in the freezer.
Yes.
How in the world do you cater for 600 people like we used to do every weekend?
Yes.
If you can't do some things in advance.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we doing when we come back from the break?
Oh, so we are going to be making some great cheddar chive biscuits. They're one of my favorites. I love making them. To me, it's just calming. So if I've had a rough day, I love to make them.
All right, so we're not going to have a rough day. Y'all come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. And if you're just joining me, we're celebrating Mother's Day, and my special guest today is Donna Nail. She is our Culinary Director. We've been together for 21 years.
Yes.
We've grown this business together as we've moved into so many ways to utilize your talent as the Culinary Director. All right, so we've got the Pecan Havarti Quesadillas. Honestly, y'all, we'll be at the end of an event and Don will have some shrimp left over or some beef tenderloin. And what am I eating?
Oh, you're going for the quesadillas.
I mean, they are so good. I can't wait for y'all to try that recipe. All right, Donna, so this is something you can do blindfolded.
It is. I love doing the biscuits. I did them for many years on Washington Road, and I enjoy it.
All right, so these are the cheddar cheese and chive biscuits that are in Cookbook 1 recipes.
They are. So I have my self-rising flour, and I'm going to add in where I've cubed my lard here.
All right, so some people sometimes question this. Why are you using lard? Well, guess what? The original recipe used lard.
Yes.
And we have tried all the substitutions, and it's
just not the same.
So it's not like you eat this every day, but we just think that that is the ingredient that needs to be used in these biscuits.
Yes. And this is an old recipe. I mean, we've just done it for years.
Well, and I'm going to give you up, Donna. So Donna uses her hands when she does this.
I do.
And it's, it's because you like to feel.
I feel how big. I don't want any of the lard to be more than a pea size, and I can feel it better. I know exactly that just by the feel. If it needs more buttermilk, if it needs more flour. I mean, I can just by the feel of it.
Okay.
All right, I think this looks great.
It sure does.
Okay, so I'm done with that.
All right.
And I'm going to add a little cheddar cheese.
All
and I'm
right,
using
so aren't you putting a twist on this? Aren't you mimicking me today?
I am. So you can do a nice aged cheddar cheese, which I got at the fresh market. And then when I do the green onions, I use the whole stem. I use as much as possible. I want that green to really show through.
And most of the flavors in that darker green. Oh.
So as you can tell, and I've hand grated the cheese. I mean, it's the best. And now I'm going to add in my buttermilk. And so I do about 1.5 cups. This is about 2 cups in here. This is a little pint. But I can tell if it needs a little more. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And I've got about 1 cup left. And now I'm just going to
and just observing this technique, I think you said that, sometimes you just like to do this because it's almost therapeutic. And this recipe is one of the ones that if you're going to do biscuits for the very first time.
Oh, it's great.
I mean,
yes.
we got a plain biscuit in the cookbook too.
And my culinary camper of the week last year did these biscuits, and they just loved it.
And you see how she's lightly folding so that she's not over mixing.
Yeah, if you mix your dough too much, you'll have tough biscuits. So, and then when I get ready to put them on the pan, I like to put them next to each other. I call them biscuit buddies, just because they stay nice and they're just really nice and smooth and soft. And now I'm going to kind of move everything, and I'm going to spread out my flour.
And this is a 2-inch.
That one's about 1.5 inches because I'm going to use these, and I wanted a little bit smaller one for dinner. Now, if I was going to do them for something else, you can also make them smaller and do like stuffed ham with honey mustard. That's really good too.
So it is a wet dough.
It is a wet dough. And then you just kind of.
Oh, man.
And then you're just going to pat it out.
So you don't even have to use a rolling pin.
No, I don't.
Okay, so now what's the secret on actually cutting them?
So when you cut them, you want to go up and down. You don't want to twist it. Okay?
Because if you do, you're not going to get that
clean edge.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm going to go up, and then I'm just going to kind of cut it right on out. I'm gonna put a little more flour.
And honestly, this is the chemistry part of being a home economics teacher, that if you twist, then you don't have that edge that allows the biscuit to rise. So these really rise. And I love your little biscuit buddy analogy of putting them side by side.
Yeah, just make sure they're touching, and the kids love making these because it's so hands-on. They can get a little messy, and it's okay.
It's okay for you, Donna. Should the children love her? All right, so we're going to finish getting these cut out. And what's the temperature of the oven for this recipe?
So this is 450. It's not a mistake when you read it in the cookbook. This is in our first cookbook, Recipes from My Table. And, you know,
it's just a hot oven so that they rise quickly and brown beautifully. All right, so what are we going to be doing when we come back from the break?
Oh, so coming up next is a beef fillet and a salmon. You are just going to love it.
Oh, man. Okay, come back with us. I'm getting hungry. Welcome back, everybody. And Donna, those biscuits are already smelling amazing.
Good.
All right, so you use the scraps at the end.
Oh, yes. I use every bit of it. All I do is, you know, take it and re-roll it again and then pat it out nicely so I'm not overworking it. And I always have that last little bit. I call it my ugly biscuit. And I put it on the side, and it's not enough to cut out, but it's enough, and that's the one that I taste to make sure
But I
everything's
ate
good.
it yesterday.
You did.
I love that. And one real quick, what's the thickness of that dough before you use the cutter? It's about a half an inch?
It's about a half inch.
Okay, all right. Okay, so this segment is protein. And honestly, my husband, Jones, we don't cook steaks on the grill anymore. We cook them just like this. So let's walk through this process for any of you that, you know, feel uncomfortable about being on the grill, or maybe your husband's out of town and you want a steak. This is the recipe for you.
Absolutely. It's very easy. I have a nice cast iron. I've got it high. You can see with the smoke's coming off of it. I've got my fillets ready. I did a little olive oil, and I did a Montreal steak seasoning. It's very good. It's nice. I did let it set for about an hour beforehand, and as you can tell, it's really gotten into it. And now you can hear that sizzle. If you don't hear that, it's not hot enough. So we're just going to let those continue.
Okay, so this is another thing that I mentioned to Jones last night, but he doesn't do this way, and I told him what you said, was that you put the olive oil on the steak instead of in the pan.
I do.
He does a little bit of bacon drippings and olive oil in the pan. But then you don't have a bunch of excess oil that keeps it from getting that crust.
Also, the olive oil helps break it down, so it helps marinate it. So it's very nice. And then next, I have these great salmon. I'm going to use another little bit of olive oil. And I don't want to use too much because I don't want it to be saturated with it. And then I love this. It's like a magic season blend. It's made from Chef Paul. It's just great. You can use salt and pepper. You can use whatever you'd like on it. Salmon is a very easy fish. I kind of rub it in, show it a little love.
And you cook the skin side down first,
I
correct?
do.
All right, so when I put this in the hot pan, I'm going to kind of move it a little bit before I let go of it, just so it doesn't stick.
Right. All right, so now my 2 minutes are up, and I'm just going to flip those over. They've got a nice good crust. I'm going to do them 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to put them in the oven for 4.
Okay, and what's that temp on the oven?
415.
Okay, so keep in mind that it takes a minute for an oven to get to 415. So before you even start this, you need to get that oven preheated. All right, tell us about the red wine reduction.
So I made a great red wine reduction right before we got started. It has a little olive oil, and then I did a shallot, and I diced it very small. And I put 1 cup of red wine in it, and then I let it reduce about half. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes. I added a cup of beef broth, let it reduce just a little bit more, and then I just added in some butter and a little salt.
Oh, that sounds delicious. And about how long does it take for it to reduce down?
Altogether, it takes about 3 or 4 minutes the first time, and then after you hit the broth in it, you're going to reduce it about another 2 minutes.
Okay.
So it's not long, and it's a very smooth, gentle. If it's too tangy because of the red wine, you can add a little bit of sugar, even some citrus sometimes. All right, so we've done our 2 minutes on each side, and I am just taking that cast iron, and I'm going to move right over to the oven.
Okay, so one little tip I'm going to give you is always have a pot holder handy, because you forget that the handle on that cast iron skillet is as hot as the skillet. All right, and while she's doing that, you know, the salmon is really thick, and so a lot of times you're going to want to like turn it on its side for just a minute and let it cook a little bit on there. So what kind of sauce are you going to serve on this, Donna?
So I am going to do a really nice fresh dill sauce. So that one is a nice sour cream with a little Dijon mustard, garlic, and of course all my garlic is fresh, dill, lemon zest, lemon juice, salt, pepper, and just a little bit of our Tony's. I just love it.
Of course. All right, so when we get ready to plate this in presentation, this is something that you and I have really had a lot of fun in the last couple of years because of the golf tournament and the people that we work with and the plated meals that we do with all the chefs that come in from out of town. So we've had fun with that. But we also just recently did a dinner party fundraiser for the school that my grandchildren go to. And so we did this meal, and we've got some, you know, we did some gorgeous things with plating. All right, so when we come back from the break, we're going to talk more about plating and presentation, and we'll have some really delicious menus on our website at VeryVera.com. Welcome back, everybody. Donna, you did it.
Yay.
I'm so proud of you. You know, it's just wonderful to have you understand what goes on behind the camera, on this side of the camera.
Yes.
And you did an amazing job.
Oh,
so
thank
I'm so
you.
happy you were here with me on the studio set today. All right, so let's walk back through what we did for this beautiful Mother's Day dinner.
Well, we started with the Havarti cheese quesadillas, and I plated them so that I had some candied pecans, kind of making it so it'll set up just right. And then to add a little bit more to the plate, I just add a little bit of the fig preserve to it.
So you can pass this if they're cut smaller.
Yes.
And then you can plate it as an appetizer. All right, then you went on to the biscuits.
I did. We did the Cheddar Chive biscuits, and I added a little bit of a honey butter to it.
Oh, well, that recipe is also in our cookbook as well.
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. And the butter knife always goes at the top of the butter plate. We've had so many comments on the way that I did the place settings in the cookbook and which utensil was for each thing.
Yes.
And many people have commented on that. Well, the plate looks amazing.
Well, thank you. So our plate, of course, we did the salmon, which was great. We did a nice dill sauce, and then we did the filet with a nice red wine reduction. And I added a little bit of creamed potatoes, some candied thyme carrots, and a little asparagus to give it a little extra color.
Oh, it's just
Wanted
beautiful.
it to pop.
Well, and the red wine reduction goes well with the potatoes, with the beef, of course, and also with your vegetables. So it's nice when you can put the dill sauce that really just speaks to the salmon directly on top of it. And that's what, a 3 or 4 ounce serving of salmon?
That's about a 4.5, almost 5 ounce. I did cut a little bit of the tail off at the end because it tends to get smaller as you go down. And I just, you know, like a nice clean cut when I'm plating.
Well, and just to round this off, and we did not have time on the show to make this today, but it will be on our website at VeryVera.com. Tell us about the roasted butternut squash soup.
So that is a delicious butternut squash soup, and I also did a nice sour cream swirl with a little bit of crushed toasted pistachios.
Oh, that's so beautiful. All right, so let's speak to everything that's going on here. This is my mother's good china that I inherited when she passed away, and it is Heath and Rose by Spode. And I will never forget, this is how I met Replacements Limited, because I broke one of these dishes. And a friend had told me years ago about Replacements Limited. So for those of you out there that have had the same situation and you think you're just done because you broke the plate, please go to their website. They also have sterling silver, so I could have gotten my mother's Gorham Chantilly from there as well. And then the whole setting is just gorgeous. And we have an article in Okra Magazine's current issue that speaks to this sort of setup as well as Easter. So I hope you'll look at that for Okra Magazine, because that spread turned out amazing. So for dessert this time, we did the carrot cake. And of course, we could do these in our sleep. But Donna, you came up with this presentation for dessert.
I did. I really liked it in the glass, and so I did it on a sheet pan flat instead of the layers. And I just cut out with a biscuit cutter.
Oh, it's just
And
great.
I just piped it on top, and I did some candied carrots and a little candied pecans for that as well.
All right. Well, Donna, you've done a great job
Thank
today. I want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. And just remember, no matter what you do,
Do it in good taste.
come back and join us next week. If you have questions or comments about today's show, or you just want to know more, please join our email list at VeryVera.com.